Hello everyone, I'm Anna Vanila. Welcome to my channel Anna Vanila Arts. I am sharing on this channel everything that I've learned over the years, tens of years of experience in knitting. In fact, more than 30 years I've been knitting, and I know a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things from my mistakes. I improved and so on. I perfected my style of knitting after that, after so many years of knitting, which was my hobby, is always with me. I always knit. I am an addict to knitting, so please feel welcomed and let's do beautiful things together. In this case, today we have this hat. It's how much I've knitted to create a hat. Instead of rib stitch, I have knitted the first couple of centimeters. Let's see, 3 centimeters high. I've knitted on the front and on the back front stitches only, so you get like pearl look stitches on the front and on the back if you knit front stitches on the back and on the front. And I have 1 2 3 4 5 6. I've got 6 wavy lines, which means it's 12 rows that I've knitted, and I'm going to show you how I've made the beginning in case you don't know how to start the hat. I'm going to show you how to cast on, and then later I'm going to show you how to do this beautiful pattern, which is not difficult to do. Is very gentle, is very soft, is very beautiful, tactile, and not just the pattern but the color of this is fantastic. I just love it. I've chosen this color on purpose because I thought I don't have enough hats in this color. So I'm going to show you how I started this project. So on the needles number 5 needles, 5 millimeters, I cast on 85 loops, 85 stitches, and this is enough for my size of a hat, of a head. So if you have my size, then you're welcome to do this many stitches. If you have smaller size of a head, you can do 5 stitches less, for instance. And let me show you how I cast on. So these are number 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters needles. This is the yarn that I've used. It's acrylic yarn, so we make a slip knot like so. And then we pull like this. We cast on 85 stitches. 1 2. I'm going to cast on just a little stitches, like a little bit, maybe 20 stitches, just to show you how to begin. So you do like this. You can also do it like so. Other people are doing like this, casting on. So I'll cast on 20 loops or so, maybe less, maybe more, and I'm going to show you how to start this type of hat. The beginning of this hat, of how I actually knitted, and I'm going to show you and explain to you. Hopefully you will understand me, even if my main language isn't English. I hope you understand my accent and what I explain. Maybe I can find enough words to explain to you so that it's all clear how I do things. Maybe I knit differently than other people. So I've casted on certain amount of loops. Now we knit like this. The first loop we do not knit, we just pass it on to the right needle, and this row knit it like so. Front stitches all this row like this. And we knit like this until the end of this row. So as you remember, you do not knit the first loop, but the last loop we always knitted with a purl stitch to make sure the edge is all even. So reverse the work, and first loop again we do not knit it, and now we knit with a front stitch like so, like this. And we knit like this until the end of this row. Now in the next row we knit the same way, so we do not knit the first loop, but then we knit it also with front stitches like this, the same way as the previous row. This is how we knit this row as well. So we combine the previous row with this row, and as you can see, it creates like a wavy line. So the wavy line actually is in total 2 rows, so we knit it like this, plus I would like to explain to you that when we begin we have a string, like a yarn that it's sort of like hanging like this one. This is our beginning. This is the front row. this thread always shows that this is the front row, this is the back row, like this. So the front row is always when in the beginning you get this thread. And for example, if you want to be a bit more, and if you want to be more precise and more informed that this is the front row, you can hang a marker like so. I've got in my hands this marker, this color. They come in different sizes and colors, and you can just put one like this, and you know it's always a front row. And then you knit the same way again, the front row and the back row, and you knit like this, as I said, about 3 to 4 centimeters high, so that it becomes like an elasticated edge, so that it holds on to, this hat holds on to your head quite nicely. And as you can see here, you see I hang the marker here because this is the beginning, and I always know is the front side. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wavy lines, which means 12 rows in the same way, with front stitches on the front and front stitches on the back. And I'm going to now show you how I continue this hat in doing this pattern with plots, with these little cables, if you will. Maybe a cable. I have knitted here 22 centimeters from the beginning to where we are now. So I need about 23 centimeters to actually make the height of this hat for me, for my liking, for my kind of head, because I do a lot of hairdos, so of course I need more space inside the hat, so I make extra long the hat to be. You can choose and make as long as you wish. Maybe you have short hair and you don't need as long to knit it. And maybe you can knit it 16 centimeters if you have a small head. You can knit it 20 centimeters and it will be fine. So let me show you how I do this pattern. So the first loop, we pass it on to the right needle, we do not knit it. So the second loop, we knit it as a purl stitch, third loop, purl stitch, and 3 loops, we knit it together, and we push the yarn through them, through these loops. Then we do yarn over, we hold it with a finger, and then we knit these 3 loops again with the same way. And this is how we begin the plot. So 1, 2 purl stitches, 3 loops, 1 2 3 together. We pass the yarn through, we rotate it and make yarn over. We hold it with a thumb, with a finger, and then the third loop we knit it again, these 3 loops together. So from 3 loops we make 3, but in a different way, to make sure we create this pattern. So 2 purl stitches, 3 loops. I'm going to knit and you're going to see how I do it. And we knit like this until the end of this row. By the way, I would like to remind you that this is possibly the easiest and the quickest cable that you can ever knit. So even beginners could knit this cable. This little plots, as you see here, it's like number 8. So now we do the second row of this pattern. So the first loop we do not knit, and we look 2 front stitches, we knit them, 1 2 front stitches. Those 3 loops that we have knitted in a special way, if I may say that way, we knit them here on the back with 3 purl stitches, 2 3 purl stitches, and then we see 2 front stitches. We need 2 front stitches, 3 purl stitches, 2 front stitches, 3 purl stitches, and we knit like this until the end of this row. Then now I will show you how to do the third row, which is very simple, yet is a simple design, simple pattern. The first loop we do not knit, the second is purl stitch, third purl stitch, and then we look and we see 3 front stitches. We knit them as 3 front stitches, like so. Then 2 purl stitches. We see, what we see is how we knit. We see 2 purl stitches and we see 3 front stitches, and that's how we knit this row. We do the same, we knit the same way until the end of this row. This is the third row. Now this is the 4th row. First one we do not knit, 2 front stitches, 3 purl stitches. So what we see again is what we need. We see 2 front stitches, we need 2 front stitches. We see 3 purl stitches, we need 3 purl stitches, and so on. We knit this way until the end of this row. Now there isn't any fifth row for this pattern. This pattern contains only 4 rows. So now it's a fifth row, but because there isn't any fifth row, we need them like it is the first row, like we needed the first row. We take 1 loop to the side, 2 purl stitches, and then again 1, 2, 3. 3, we knit them together, and then yarn over, and then we knit them yet again. So we make from 3, 3. So we knit all over again how we knitted in the first row of this pattern. And this is it. It's easy, and you knit it as long as you want the hat to be. So we will start doing decreases after this. So after you have knitted the height of the head you desire, we do the decreasing. So the first loop we do not need. We see 2 purl stitches. We knit these 2 purl stitches and create 1 purl stitch from these 2 purl stitches. So we see 3 front stitches. We need 3, 1, 2, 3 front stitches and 2 purl stitches. We make 1 purl stitch, then again 1, 2, 3 front stitches. From 2 purls we make 1 purl, and this is how we knit until the end of this row. And I don't know if you have watched my other videos, but the decreasing we always do on the front of the hat. So now we do the back of the hat. This is the second row decreasing. So what we need to do is we do not need the first loop. We see 1 front stitch. We need 1 front stitch. We see 3 purl stitches. We need these 3 purl stitches. 1 front stitch, 3 purl stitches, 1 front stitch, 3 purl stitches, and we knit like this until the end of this row. Now this is the third row of decreasing our stitches. So the first loop we do not need. We knit 1 purl stitch, and these 3 front stitches we knit them together like so, and release. So purl stitch, and 3 front stitches, we knit them together as 1 front stitch, purl stitch, 3 together, we knit as a front stitch, 1 front stitch, and we knit like this until the end of this row. Now this is 4th row of decreasing. We do not need the first needle, but the first loop. We see 1 front stitch, we knit 1 front stitch, we see 1 purl stitch, we knit 1 purl stitch, we see 1 front stitch, 1 purl stitch, front stitch, purl stitch, and this is how we knit until the end of this row. Now we knit the 5th row of decreasing. So first loop we do not knit, and then we knit 2 together with a front stitch, 2 together with a front stitch. From 2 loops we make 1 loop, so we knit it as a front stitch. 2 loops, we make a front stitch, 1 front stitch, 2 loops, we'll make 1 front stitch, and this is how we knit until the end of this row. This is the back of a hat, so what we see purl stitches, all of them are purl stitches, and we knit them as purl stitches one by one. By the end of this row we knit all of them with purl stitches. I have about 19 stitches, 19 loops here, which means I need to again decrease one more time so that we get about 10, around 10 stitches, 10 loops. So the first one we do not knit, and the first 2 we knit it together with a front stitch, 2 with a front stitch, 2 with a front stitch, and this is how we knit until the end of this row. This one we knitted as front stitch, and the last one purl stitch. Now we knit this row, all of the loops with a purl stitch, purl stitch, purl stitch, purl stitch. We put the hat down, we take the thread and we check how many times, about 3 times, 2.5 up to 3 times to be the length of the head. the hat. 2, 3, so that it's enough thread for us to close the hat. So we have a needle, plastic needle in neon green. It might be made of metal, a needle like so. Now we take this yarn and we take 2 loops and we pass this yarn through these 2 loops like so. So 2 loops, we grab the yarn from behind, release, and then we leave these loops onto this thread. And then the last one we put the last one separately as well. So now we have to tighten. We take the needles and we put them away. We take this needle for sewing. We put inside out and we stretch it to the marks so that we can have like a little circle here, and we adjust it with a knot. To make sure it does not unravel. Now we turn it like so, and we do the mattress stitch. So we take the perpendicular like so, and we sew this side, and then the same thing we do on this side. Then we do it again, this side. As you can see, there is like a braid, like a plait here, where we knitted at the beginning of each row. So this plait, this braid here, is what we need to follow and knit with, sew it. So we take this braid and from inside we do this, and we do both sides. We follow the braid. And it creates very even, very beautiful stitching, very beautiful sewing, because you nearly can't tell where has been done the stitching, the sewing. And we do like so until the end of this hat, the length of this hat, and we stretch it slightly like this. So we do the same thing on both sides up to here. After the sewing, we slightly stretch the head so that the stitching would be a bit elongated, a bit even, and we turn it inside out, and we see this braid, this plait here, and what we need to do is to follow it, and we sew into the loops that we see on this braid, and then we make a knot to make sure it does not unravel with many washes and wear and tear. Then we hide this yarn through this stitches through this loop. Now we do the same with the second one, with the beginning of a thread, the thread from the beginning of a hat, which was showing us to be the front rows all the time. So we make a knot, and then we hide it through the braid. And we finished the hat. We just stretch it slightly. Stretch it. As you can see, this is how much left I've got from the yarn, from the wool that I've knitted this hat, and it's basically 50 grams. 50 grams enough wool for this hat. So as you can see, this pattern doesn't take a lot of yarn to make a hat. It's quite convenient, it's quite good, it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's special, and you will be delighted to wear it. As you can see, it turned out to be a very nice hat with a beautiful crown here at the top. It's all even, it's all done beautifully. I made this hat. It was my idea from start to finish, and this kind of hat you can't find anywhere else because it's my creation. So you are welcome to use my pattern and do beautiful things like these, and be proud that you've made something as good and beautiful as this, or even better. And let's check how it looks on my mannequin. My mannequin has a smaller head than mine, but at least it gives you an idea of how it looks like if it's been worn. So this is how it looks like. As you can see, these beautiful braids, beautiful plaits are just fantastic and nicely done, carefully done. This is the stitch at the back, which you can't tell the difference. You can't even tell it's stitched. It's sewn, and as you can see, it's all carefully made. It covers the ears, it covers the forehead slightly. Obviously the mannequin has smaller size of a head than mine, but this is at least an example of how it looks like. This is how it looks at the top, the crown of a head, which we made together. And this is the end result. I hope you love it. I hope you'll make this pattern, and please write to me about this pattern, how it turned out for you. And you can make this pattern for yourself, for your friends and family members. And please put likes and comment below my video, and I'll be appreciative. So thank you very much. I've been Anna Vanila, and welcome to my channel, Anna Vanila Arts. Please subscribe, and see you soon in the next video. Bye.